knee. The knee bends it back just a little bit as I knee up forward. See that? Yeah. And then I'm going to step out and snap the head down.
I got the gene of the warrior, going in the fight mode. Never sleep, never keep my eyes closed. I got something to prove, and I got nothing to lose. I'm dangerous, I got the warrior gene. I'm dangerous, I got the warrior gene. I'm dangerous, got the warrior gene. I'm dangerous, I got the warrior gene.
Hi, I'm Rohan Parrant, and this is Warrior Gene. In each episode, we're going to be interviewing a different combat sports coach. They're going to be giving advice, answering questions, providing us with 5 training techniques and 5 drills. Today, I have Travers Grubb from Pro Fitness MMA in Frankston. Welcome to the show, Travers.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Travers, what age did you start training?
Well, I dabbled in quite a few different martial arts as a kid. It's karate. I've done ninjutsu. Dabbled in ninjutsu, yeah. And I sort of fell in love with Brazilian jiu-jitsu at about 16, and sort of haven't looked back since.
Yeah, great. So, what got you into training?
I'd say Bruce Lee. I was a Bruce Lee fan. I think like most of us our age and our generation. So, he was my inspiration to get into martial arts.
So, what got you into coaching?
I think it was, I coached pretty much the whole way through my athletic career, but I've had quite a few injuries, so I sort of retired from being an athlete, and that's when I really focused on coaching.
Right, so the first training drill, let's do it.
So the first drill, we're just going to do a nice simple double leg drill. So just changing levels, nice penetration step. We're going to join our hands just underneath the bum, and we're going to lift in motion. So the thing to remember is we want to change levels and lift up. Okay, so we're in our fighter stance. We're going to be close enough so we can punch. We don't want to be too far away or the person will see the takedown coming. From here we change levels. We're going to penetrate straight away with our lead leg and step in a nice squat position, join our hands around the butt, and we're just going to lift. And then we step back. And we can do it multiple times just to get that conditioning and that nice penetration.
Oh, cool.
Let's
so
have
stand just striking range?
Striking range, very important, because if you're too far out, you're going to see it coming.
Okay, cool. So step in,
yep.
penetrate.
Yep, and lift. Nice. And think about trying to join those hands nice around the back.
Okay, cool. So step in,
yep.
Drop down,
and lift. Beautiful. So one more. Nice. One more. Good. Good work.
Thanks. Yeah. So what's one of your best memories in combat sports?
I would say I fought the first ever sanctioned MMA fight in Victoria.
Oh, really?
It was a good experience, when a lot of these people hadn't even seen MMA, and I went and through first exchange, double-legged the guy, and the crowd booed. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so it's come a long way, MMA, so for me that was a memory that I remember and, stands out from my,
So drill number 2.
So drill number 2 is what we call pummeling, which is a great warm-up, and it also helps us teach us just how to control someone in that sort of Greco-Roman style.
Yes! Why did you stop? Keep pushing.
Good. So what we're doing, we're looking for that pummeling position, over under. So Roman's got an underhook, I've got an underhook, and then from here we're going to pummel, he's going to do exactly the same, and then we end up back in a 50-50. 50-50. Good. And we're switching our feet as we do it. Nice.
So what's a typical first session look like at Pro Fitness MMA?
So we run intro classes at 6 o'clock every Wednesday. So what we do in the intro class is we cover a little bit of everything. So, for someone who's never done anything before, they'll learn a little bit of footwork, a little bit of striking, and then we'll go into the ground, a few positions and a couple of submissions, just to get a feel of every part of MMA.
Okay. All right, so drill number 3.
So drill number 3 is what we call a sprawl, but this is more of a single leg sprawl. So if someone's shooting on you, we're going to drop one hip and we're going to sprawl on our opponent. It's a great way to stop a takedown, which is used quite often in grappling and wrestling and in MMA. Okay. So we're in our fight stance. We imagine someone shooting on a takedown. We're going to throw our legs back, use our hip, fall onto the mat, post on our foot, bounce back to our front stance.
fighting stance.
Yeah. And back up. Good. Really turn that hip, the thing on here. Yeah, so that hip's going to drop. Good.
Is that right?
Beautiful.
And what's something you always tell your students?
Consistency is the key. You can train hard for a month, but you don't train for 2 months. You're not going to get the results. Keep training, keep consistent, and you'll get the results eventually. But stop and starting is the hardest thing I think for a lot of people.
So drill number 4.
Drill number 4 is what we call a bridge, forward bridge and back bridge. It's a neck strengthening exercise as well as a flexible, helping with our flexibility in our back. So it works really well in grappling and MMA. It strengthens the neck up and helps with flexibility. So we're going to start, especially when you first start out, you want to use your hands. So we're going to get on our toes on the mat. We're going to roll forward and back and just stretch it under.
Okay, Travers, we're gonna do your round. We want to do the MMA round.
MMA?
Yeah.
So how important is mindset in combat sports?
Well, to me, I think mindset is everything, really. Obviously, everyone has different reasons to compete. Some people, want to tick off a bucket list, and then you've got guys who want to actually be the best in the world. So, there are levels, but, there definitely has to have the right mindset to be able to, go out there and compete, especially in an MMA fight or any sort of striking. You're there to punch someone's head in, literally. So it takes a lot of courage and a lot of mental preparation for someone to get in there and compete. I've trained with guys in the gym, they're amazing. But when it comes time to compete, they just fold. Where on the other end of the scale, you've got guys who you train with and but they just keep winning. It's just they turn on the day. So, I think mental preparation is everything.
So drill number 5.
So number 5 is very similar to number 4, except this is in a back position. There's a few ways we can start it off. If you feel like you're confident, I'll show you the confident one, and then I'll show you the less confident one.
I'm confident. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So from here, we're going to start off in our forward bridge position.
Yeah. But we're going to jump. I'm not confident. Show me the basic one.
So
if we do the basic one, I'm not doing that, I'll snap my neck.
We're going to start off on our back. We're going to use our hands, especially when we're first starting out. We don't want to put too much pressure on our neck. We come up and we'll just rock back and forth.
Okay, get ready.
What about nutrition?
Well, nutrition is everything, really. It's your fuel. So if you don't have the right fuel, you're not going to perform. For the guys that cut weight, it's very important because you got to keep your weight on track. So nutrition is another massive aspect of being an athlete, especially a combat athlete.
Okay. And what about conditioning?
Conditioning is the key. I remember Paul Fifield told me fatigue makes cowards of us all. So, once you get tired, doesn't matter how tough you are, you're just going to be a punching bag. So I think, without the conditioning and the fitness, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Great quote, man. Good advice. Right, so now we're going to do technique number 1.
So technique number 1 is going to be a jab into a high crutch into a single leg. So we're going to be in our fight stance. We're going to use that jab as a distraction. So we step in with that jab. Most likely he's going to protect. From here we're going to do the same motion. We're going to bring the jab back like we're just going to go for a second jab, but we're going to change levels and go high into the crutch. Now this hand's going to shoot around like I'm throwing a hook, and I grab the single leg. One more time. So we're here, we're using that jab for a distraction. The second one we bring it back, we change levels, jab in the high crutch position. The second move, step around with the hook, and pick the single leg up. Okay, great. Let's try that.
So jab.
Yes, nice. Good. One more time.
Yes, now, come back heavy. You try to take it.
Good.
Yes. Now, on him. Drop him, get him back. Yes.
Do you have any advice for someone that's looking at starting out in combat sports?
Now, keep
Yeah, I think bite the bullet and start training. I think people have this misconception they've got to get their body right before they come into train. Most martial art gyms, they'll ease you into that. They're not going to throw you straight in the deep end. So I think just get started is the most important thing for someone. If you're thinking about getting into MMA or any sort of training, just walk in the door and start from there.
Okay. Right, now we're going to do drill number 2.
So drill number 2 is just a defence with a single leg. So we're going to use that same position. I'm going to shoot it on the single leg. I'll get that leg onto the outside of the leg. This hand comes through, grabs my thigh, push the head away, and break the grip.
Right, one more time.
There, pushing the thigh, pushing the head away, dropping your shoulder, and break the grip.
That's really warmed up in the whole. You was afraid to take him down too. I could see it.
Any advice for people currently training?
Be goal orientated, that's very important. When you come into training, think about what purpose you have. Each time you come in, I want to work on a certain part of my game. Write it down, be mindful of what you're doing when you're training. Don't just come in and train without any goals, because I've seen it. People just come in and they just lose interest too. So set goals. Once you hit your goals, you feel like you've achieved something.
So technique number 3.
So technique number 3 is the counter to the defence. So we're going to do the same move. Here, now his partner puts the leg on the outside. We're going to rip it up, put it on our hip. We can trip this way. We can step in this way and take the partner down. So one more time. Here, partner's pushing me away. I use that momentum to lift it up, put it on my hip. From here I can trip this way, or I can step in and trip this way. There. And the outside, rip it. Nice. And trip. Good. And rip.
Okay, what about people that are already competing? Any advice for them?
To me, it's the same. You got to have goals. When you compete, you've got to understand what you want to do, how far you want to take it. So every person is different, So if you are a high-level competitor and you want to be the best in the world, you're going to have a different conversation than someone who's just jumping in and going to the local jiu-jitsu tournament.
So now doing technique number 4.
So technique number 4 is from where we done our first drill, was from the pummeling position. What we're going to do a snap down. So we're in this position, we've got an over-under position. We're going to use this knee to just bend the back a little bit. See how his posture's changed a little bit? I'm going to step out to an angle, and I'm going to snap his head down and control his chin. So one more time. We're in a 50-50. I'm going to use this knee and this pulling down motion to change his posture. Now I'm going to step out at an angle. I'm going to take the chin.
Okay, so we're in pumping position.
Yep.
Knock the knee.
And take the chin. Good.
And how do you prepare an athlete for competition?
Well, that's another unique scenario too, isn't it, really? Because everyone has different commitments. We got guys, young guys, who they've trained full time, so we can push them and train 4 or 5 hours a day, and then you have guys who work full time as, tradies, but they still want to fight, so they can only afford 1 hour a day. So I think it is unique, but it's nice to build the foundation and build off the foundation. So if you're going to fight, I think you need to have a foundation, so you got to build that base. And then from the base, it's like a house. You need the foundation to build the house. So that is very important, to have a good foundation if you're going to compete. And, then from there you can tailor. Like you said, people have different commitments.
So now we're going to do technique number 5.
So technique number 5 is the anaconda. So what we're going to do, we're going to be down on all fours, drag that partner down. From here, we're going to get a gable grip. We're going to bring that arm nice, tuck that arm nice and tight in. Bring our knees together. We're going to roll underneath. From here, we're going to slide up, grab our bicep, and walk. One more time. So we're here. We're in this position, we're going to go gable grip, we're going to palm up, we'll drag the elbow back, bring our knees together, roll underneath, and we're just going to slide that up, grab our biceps, and walk forward.
We brought them down. Gable grip. Pull the arm across. One more time. So that's Trav from Pro Fitness MMA in Frankston. If you're interested in MMA training, come down to Pro Fitness MMA in Frankston.
Thank you very much.
I got the gene of the warrior, going into fight mode. Never sleep, never keep my eyes closed. I got something to prove, and I